Stories, healing, a sacred space. Come with me. Let's find our
As a
place.
human resources professional for the past 11 years, bachelor's as well as master's degree holder, professional of human resources certified. In today's workplace, the lack of self awareness in leadership is alarming. And the part that makes it worse is most of the leadership that is displayed is actually ego. And because of this, the true skills that are needed for leadership are completely lost. Leaders aren't a display of power. Leadership is all about being self aware so that you can understand what it is that you have so that you can give that. Exercising self awareness in leadership is all about understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, your personal emotional triggers, and the ways that you are connected to others around you. When you, as a leader, have this understanding about yourself, what your highs and your lows are, it gives you the opportunity to make better decisions, build stronger relationships within the workplace, and lead from an authentic place. I remember the moment that I understood that honesty gains you more respect than perfection. Also establishes more buy-in because you come off more authentic when you are honest. I had a direct report at one of my old positions who was a whiz. I mean, an absolute whiz at marketing, design, content, benefits, was just great at it and had passions for both of them. There were things that this particular employee knew that I did not. And it was because I was willing to allow them to flourish in their space that I understood what leadership really looks like. Before that, I thought leadership was all about having the authority, but it had nothing to do with my authority and my power. That was something that didn't need to be explained. My respect and my buy-in came from me allowing someone else to have the autonomy that they needed to do well in their space. That is leadership building. And in order for you to build appropriately, you have to understand what it is that you have inside of you that can be of aid to someone else. In life and at work, these things apply on both sides. Because if you aren't able to lead yourself, how ever could you lead somebody else? Tell me. I want to know. Put it in the comment if you got the answer, because I want to hear it. I do. Leadership, it is something that you use in life as well as in work. And sharpening your leadership skills builds you up as a person. Your emotional intelligence is going to be higher because you are going to be more capable of reading the room and establishing when to talk versus when not to talk. When I was telling you the story about my direct report, me showing honesty and frankly vulnerability to my team member created higher morale across the entire team. Once I was able to understand what it was that that particular employee needed, I was able to do the same for my other team members. My employee morale was through the roof, baby. We were a team. Everybody had everybody's back. And that was because the leader was concerned about everyone and not just themselves. Me. I'm the leader. Yes. And one of the biggest keys when it comes to being a self-aware leader is your ability to acknowledge your bias. Your decision making power comes from being self aware, because once you are able to define your biases, you are able to remove the fluff and make the decision based on business and not on emotion or experience. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that effectively is for you to be aware of those strengths, those weaknesses, and your emotional triggers. My whole goal and purpose for this channel at the end of everything is to create more self aware, self responsible individuals. You have to put some work behind what it is you expect to receive. You have to. The lovely book that you see in front of you, Unlock Your Inner Compass, is centered around helping you bring awareness to yourself, the things that make you you. Self awareness comes from digging deep, going back at times, and this book is here to help you do that. Unlock Your Inner Compass is a 134-page exercise book. Inside of this book, there are stories about myself and how each chakra kind of played out in my life at different points in time. I have just high level pieces of information for you to get started, like gemstones, the energy that it carries, as well as a mantra that you could begin to use while you're working inside of that particular chakra. You can find this book on Amazon if you would like the physical paper copy. If you want to just work inside of one of the chakras, check my description box. I have a link to my website, and you can actually purchase individual ebooks for these particular chakras. My contact information is also down below if you have some questions before you make that step towards the purchase, to help clear up any confusion that you may have. One thing I would highly suggest is to incorporate the exercises with active therapy. This book will help give you some talking points to help you work through some of those things that may possibly trigger you a little bit as you're going through the exercises. Okay, let's get back to leadership. When I think of high level leadership, I think of Iyanla Vanzant. She is highly self aware and a leader in her own right. I mean, she tells her whole story. At no point was she ever perfect by any means. But what she was aware of her ability to adapt, reflect, and evaluate each level of growth. Chef's kiss, honey. Let's go through 3 ways to build self awareness because I'm sick of y'all in my office. The first thing I want you to do is get to know your triggers and emotional reactions. You have to be aware of what ignites any sort of stress, frustration, or defensiveness within the workplace. For instance, have you ever had a situation where you maybe got some sort of feedback that you weren't very fond of, and then you took a moment to kind of calm down or breathe it out, or a child got on the phone with your friend, was like, girl, you ain't gonna believe this. And then as you started thinking over it or talking through it, you realized it wasn't even about what was actually said, but more about how you felt in that moment. Yeah, those type of things we have to learn to hold on to before we react. Things that you can do: take a beat. Don't give feedback while you're in an emotional state. Allow yourself time to reset. And you already know I'm all about my journaling. If you're not journaling, you need to get to getting. Yeah. By you writing down these situations, you may be able to connect to some sort of pattern that might be happening that you may not even know is actually going on. The other thing I want you to do is actually ask for feedback from others. And it doesn't have to be your boss necessarily. It could be from a coworker that you work closely with on, many different projects. But the key thing is you gotta listen, because a lot of times in leadership, we overthink our capabilities and ignore our blind spots. Now, you're going to have to be prepared to hear some negative feedback and not just positive feedback. That's the only way you're going to grow in that space. Again, yes, you are going to be uncomfortable. You may even feel a bit attacked. However, it's not for you to reply, it's for you to listen and receive the feedback. Don't justify. Just say, okay, or thank you, and walk away. And please, 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 can we get rid of the do what I say, not what I do type of behavior? Please. As a leader, you have to know your core values and lead accordingly. When you don't have a set of standards that you follow, you're going to be floating all over the place and extremely disconnected, and so is your team. If a core value of yours is honesty, but you don't know how to have tough conversations, you know what I mean? Leaders who are aligned with what it is that they stand on and they follow through gain respect and trust. Think about your top 3 leadership values, whatever those are for you. Write them down. And then I want you to ask yourself if you are leading in the way that reflects those values. Now, leadership comes from the solar plexus chakra. This chakra focuses all on confidence, personal power, and decision making. And if you are lacking self awareness, it likely means the chakra is blocked, which can lead to self doubt and control issues. There is times when chakras can be overactive and underactive as well. An overactive chakra can have behaviors like micromanagement, arrogance, and inability to receive feedback. Underactive, you likely will display lack of confidence in some fashion, hesitation. Your ability to make a decision is going to be very difficult because you're not trusting yourself, because you don't know yourself. You can't be a stranger to you. You just can't do that. I want to give you an affirmation that you can put on a post-it note somewhere in your office. That way you can remind yourself of who you are. Yes. The affirmation is, I lead with wisdom and confidence. My power is rooted in self awareness. After this affirmation, I want you to take a deep breath. And if you're heading into a meeting, about to write an email response, because, child, we be needing to take a break when we got to write that email response, you know. But it's just to bring you back to center. Quick journaling prompt. So I want you to think about an experience you had either with yourself or with someone else where self awareness was displayed in leadership. What was something that you learned about yourself, if it was you, or about the person that you were engaging with? And based on that new knowledge, what is one thing about your leadership style or one trait that you want to improve, or something from that person that you think would elevate them in their leadership? I am telling you, self awareness is the key to strong leadership. It is the first step. And taking simple actions like recognizing your triggers, seeking feedback, and aligning with your true values make a big impact. By working inside of the solar plexus chakra, it is going to help you move through some of those areas of concern that you may have when it comes to establishing a strong foundation for self awareness. If this is something that you recognize to be true or you have experienced, I would love to have a conversation with you about it, because I just really want our workplaces healthy. And it's just really unfortunate to see that so many of them are not. So leave me a comment down below. Let's have a discussion. I would love to pick your brain and for you to also pick mine. If you have not done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel so that you can stay informed on. I'm probably going to turn this into a series actually, because there are leadership tools in each individual chakra as well. So make sure that you subscribe so that you can be on the lookout for the next video in this series, because we just turned into a series. Yay! Video I am going to add to the confidence and self-esteem boost playlist, but I likely will take this particular series and turn it into its own playlist as well, in the event that you want to, slide through them all. The best leaders aren't the ones who have all the answers, but they are the ones who know themselves the best. Go manifest your story.
Come with me. Let's find our place.